Welcome to the Hannahcast. My name is ChristianTylerHannah. This is your one-stop shop for movie news for movie nerds. I am flying solo today. Raphael isn't here right now. He's probably sleeping. I don't know what's going on. But, so it's just going to be you and me today. And that probably means it's going to be a shorter show, considering I don't have anybody to bounce off with. But, whatever. So, yeah. Now, before we continue on with these topics, I'd like to plug the Christian's Reviews Patreon page. You can just go to patreon.com/ChristianTylerHannah. And right there, you'll see my Patreon page, and you'll see some perks you could get if you decide to become a Patreon member. $1 per month gets your name in my videos. So, I mean, there's not really much to explain there. Oh man, sorry. I'm recording this at 9:19 a.m. $5 per month gets you the audio-only version of the Hannahcast. I mean, if you want to listen to the Hannahcast while you're working out or whatever, this tier allows you to just listen to the Hannahcast, the audio-only version, and $5 a month will also get your name in my videos. And then we go over to $15 per month. And for $15 per month, you can get the Hannahcast after show. After you watch the Hannahcast or listen to the Hannahcast, why not check out the after show? Me and the guest will just talk about some random stuff, so you'll never know where each episode will go. We could even get political if you want. This also gets your name in my videos. And it gets you the Hannahcast, the audio-only version. So, there it is, guys. Like I said before, $1 per month gets your name in my videos. $5 per month gets you the audio-only version of the Hannahcast, along with your name in my videos. And $15 a month gets you the Hannahcast after show, which also gets your name in my videos and the Hannahcast audio-only version. So yeah, consider becoming a Patreon on my Patreon. Man, I really screwed the pooch on that one, didn't I? Oh well, I'm continuing on. Because we have a few topics to talk about today. One of them, this literally came out, like, the day we were recording the last Hannahcast. And, damn it. Like, And, I mean, I'm excited for this news, but I was like, seriously, it had to happen, like, right after we recorded the episode. But, it's official, Spider-Man is back in the MCU, ladies and gentlemen. He is back. I am so glad, because if you don't know what was happening, Sony and Disney got into a bit of a, kerfuffle, if you will, over Spider-Man. They were going to try to reach a new deal, but for some reason, Disney decided to, say, we want, what was it, like 50% of the profits, and we want co-financing rights to Spider-Man. And if you don't know what co-financing means, they were going to, of course, help, produce the film. But the problem is if Disney did that, then they would get some of the rights to Spider-Man, and Sony did not want to give that up. Understandably so, because what Disney was demanding was absolutely stupid. So they could not reach a new deal, and Spider-Man was just suddenly out of nowhere, no longer in the MCU, which was very disappointing. But apparently, talks resurfaced, and Disney and Sony made an agreement, made a new deal. This is a shorter deal, where Spider-Man is going to have one more movie, and it's going to come out 2021. We'll talk about that later. But, like, Tom Holland's Spider-Man is going to get one more movie in the MCU, at least, and another appearance in a Marvel movie. Like some other Marvel side movie. I am sorry if I'm yawning. I am a chronic yawner. I am really glad about this. Because, like, look, does Marvel need Spider-Man? No. Does Sony need Marvel? No. But they both benefit from each other. And I like having these two things together. Like, Marvel can still have their cinematic universe. Sony can still make their Venomverse and their Spider-Verse movies. I think it's a win-win. Uh, and I really do feel like they benefit from working with each other, because I love seeing Spider-Man in the MCU. I mean, yeah, I thought Far From Home was okay, but I mean, every other movie Spider-Man's been in I thought was great. Like, Homecoming was great, Civil War and Infinity War and Endgame were fantastic. I mean, I just really think Spider-Man just makes the MCU just a little bit better. I just love seeing this younger character in the MCU that we follow, and seeing that he's in this crazy world where super villains just pop up out of nowhere. I mean, I don't really know what else to say about this. Although I will say, now I was reading and watching some things, and it made me kind of wonder if like what exactly they're doing with Spider-Man now. And what I mean by that is that why didn't they extend the deal to, like, you know, a similar amount of that we got in the last deal? And you know, I was watching some people and whatnot, and from what I'm gathering, like there's two good possibilities. One is that one is a good thing and one's a bad thing. The good thing is that maybe they have the small deal right now to figure out an even better, longer deal. But the bad thing is that this could be their way of segueing Spider-Man out of the MCU. Like, just give him one more movie and one more MCU appearance, and then he's gone. I hope it's not the latter. I hope to God it's not the latter. Now, granted, even if they do segue him out of the MCU, there's probably going to be a way they'll bring him back. If they come to another deal or whatnot, I don't know. But I'm just hoping this is like a placeholder deal so they can have Spider-Man pop up more in the MCU. Because, man, I really love having Spider-Man in the MCU. I really do. I love that. So, yeah, guys, what do you think of this whole thing? Like, what do you think of Spider-Man being back in the MCU? Are you glad he's in the MCU? Let me know in the comments below what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry, I'm too used to doing that. But speaking of Spider-Man being in the MCU, and with Spider-Man 3 coming out in July 2021, when you really think about it, holy shit, this means there will be 4 MCU movies in 2021. Because February 2021 is going to be Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which I'm interested in, because from what I was hearing, I think they said that, or I think someone said that, that in Shang-Chi, what was his name, the Mandarin was going to be the villain, and I was like, what? And I mean, let's see. Oh wow, okay. Yep, it's true. The Mandarin is going to be in Shang-Chi: Legend of the Ten Rings. The reason why I think this is worth noting is that the Mandarin was also in the MCU, played by Ben Kingsley. But if you saw that little All Hail the King or whatever it was, Marvel short, you would see that apparently... Well, it's in Iron Man 3, the Mandarin played by Ben Kingsley isn't really the Mandarin. He's just some schlubby dude. But if you saw the Marvel one-shot or whatever, like the little of All Hail the King, you would see that while he's in jail... like some guy comes up to him and says, the Mandarin wants to speak to you, and he is not happy. Like, basically, Ben Kingsley, of course, wasn't the Mandarin, but apparently the real Mandarin actually is out there in the MCU, and he is not happy that somebody pretended to be him. Which, I am so excited. I am actually really, really excited for that. That looks... like, I really can't wait to see what they're going to do with the Mandarin. Granted, I don't read comics, so I don't know shit about the Mandarin. The only thing I know is what people have told me that the Mandarin isn't, which is that he wasn't like the one in Iron Man 3. I don't know. So yeah, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is coming out February 2021. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is coming out May of 2021, which they're saying is going to be Marvel's first scary movie. What they mean by that, I don't know. Is it going to be legit horror? Or is it going to be like an action movie with horror elements? I don't know. I hope it's the former, but I think it's going to be the latter. Who knows? So yeah, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is going to be coming out May 2021. Spider-Man 3 is going to be coming out July of 2021, which we just talked about. And Thor Love and Thunder is coming out November 2021, meaning there will be 4 movies in the MCU in 2021. Good God. Marvel just never stops. Now, granted, next year, 2020, they're only going to have 2 movies, Black Widow and the Eternals. But still, oh my God, 4 movies, 4 MCU movies next year. Holy shit. And look, I mean, I can't, like, I know some people would say that it might be too much, but from my point of view, I mean, if anyone could do it, it's Marvel. Marvel keeps doing it, and in my opinion, the MCU overall has gotten better over the years. I'm not saying every MCU movie is better than the last one, but what I'm saying is that overall, I feel like the MCU just keeps getting better. In my opinion. And if they want to tackle, if they want to tackle 4 movies in 2021, alright, I can't wait to see it. I don't really have much to say about this other than, like, hey, yeah, there's 4 MCU movies. Let's see how that all works out, and you tell me what you think about this in the comments below. Like, what do you think of 4 movies coming out in 2021 that are in the MCU? So, yeah, let me know about that. Now, this is probably going to be a short one because I don't know anything about this property. As we know, there's going to be an Uncharted movie, and that's going to be starring Tom Holland as a younger Nathan Drake. And of course, you know, Uncharted is based on a video game, which I know a lot of people are complaining about Tom Holland and cast as Nathan Drake because he's 23 years old, but he still looks like a teen. I think this is a smart move because, not only is Tom Holland a really good actor, but like you can keep this kid on for, well, not kid, he's older than me, but you can keep this guy on for like years and years. Like he can be your Nathan Drake for a long time. And now we have a director for Uncharted, and it is Kubo and the Two Strings and Bumblebee director Travis Knight. Yes. Oh my God. Yes, Travis Knight. Oh my God, I'm so glad he's directing this. Because this is a guy who directed not only he directed, for me, at least in my opinion, one of the best animated movies ever made in Kubo and the Two Strings. Like, it was an adventure, it was funny, it was tension-filled at times. It has probably one of the, like, the ending is probably one of the biggest cry-time moments in any film for me. I thought Kubo and the Two Strings was a masterpiece, and I still think it got robbed for Best Animated Feature that year when Zootopia won. I like Zootopia, but damn it, I really wanted Kubo and the Two Strings to win. And Kubo and the Two Strings became one of 2 animated films in history to be nominated for Best Visual Effects, the other one being Nightmare Before Christmas. That is until The Lion King inevitably gets nominated for Best Visual Effects, and I think it'll even win Best Visual Effects, because, well, I mean, it's an animated movie, and I don't see any movie this year that can top The Lion King for Best Visual Effects, but that's besides the point. Kubo and the Two Strings was amazing, and Travis Knight did an incredible job in directing the film. And now, and then he did Bumblebee. Now keep in mind, the Transformers franchise, critic-wise, I mean, box office-wise, they were still doing well, but critic-wise, oh, the Transformers franchise was dead. Hell, Transformers The Last Knight got the worst reviews out of any Transformers film. And then just a year later, Bumblebee came out, which no one wanted, especially since, it's like, oh god, it's another Transformers movie. God damn it. But Travis Knight not only delivered a film that got positive reviews, the first Transformers film to get positive reviews, but if I'm not mistaken, Bumblebee, yep, it's sitting right now on Rotten Tomatoes at 92%. Out of 234 critics on Rotten Tomatoes, 92% of them gave the movie a positive review. Like, we can't, what's the, I don't know what the term is, but, we have to take notice of this. Like, Travis Knight took a critically dead franchise and delivered a film that got up in the 90s. That's insane. This is a guy who can literally turn shit into gold. I'm astounded by this. And so, that's why I have complete faith in Travis Knight directing Uncharted. Again, I don't play the games, but just as a film itself, I know that Travis Knight's gonna deliver. And if he can keep on this stride of incredibly praised films, I mean, look, we could be seeing another Nolan. We could be seeing another Denis Villeneuve. We'll have to wait and see. So there's that. Another topic I wanted to talk about here is this thing that came out where, Bob Iger, the head guy at Disney, wrote a book. I think it's a memoir or something. And he was talking, and one of the subjects talks about, the deal with Lucasfilm, to buy out Lucasfilm and acquiring Star Wars. And one of the things that he wrote about was how George Lucas felt betrayed that Disney didn't use any of his Star Wars sequel ideas. And I'm not naming names, but one of the biggest critics on YouTube, was sickened by this. And look, I know, and a lot of people are online are complaining that, how dare Disney do this? How dare they not use any of George Lucas's ideas? I'm like, people, are you high? Are all of you high right now? Here's the thing, people. Disney bought Lucasfilm. Disney bought Lucasfilm from George Lucas. They gave him $4 billion to acquire Lucasfilm. And that includes Star Wars. They're not obligated to take shit from any shitty ideas from George Lucas. And look, I appreciate George Lucas for starting off Star Wars and whatnot, because it's the biggest franchise in cinematic history. It's still going strong today. But I'm sorry, people. Disney had every right to not take any of George Lucas's ideas. They had every right to do that. You know why? Because that's how business works. Alright? That's how business works. I sell you my phone. Alright, let's say I sell you my phone. That's yours. Once I have the money and the phone is yours, you can do whatever you want with the phone. It's your right because it's yours. I don't know why people don't understand this. It's simple business. George Lucas sold the rights and all of that. He sold Lucasfilm to Disney. They can change or do anything they want regardless. I just don't understand this. I understand the deal. I more than understand the deal. I don't understand people's reaction to this whole thing of, oh, how could you not use any of George Lucas's ideas? How could you make him feel so betrayed? I'm sorry, But, well, again, for one, that's not how business works, okay? Disney can do that. Once they had Lucasfilm, they can do whatever they want. And I'm going to say something that a lot of you aren't going to like. Good! I'm glad they didn't use any of George Lucas's ideas. But, I sort of hinted at it earlier, but I guarantee you that everything Disney has done with Star Wars is way better than any shitty idea that George Lucas could have come up with. I'm sorry, but that's my opinion, because George Lucas is just not a good filmmaker. He's just not. Okay? Are we going to forget about the whole thing about, that George Lucas, look at this online. You can look it up online. George Lucas had tons of help trying to make Star Wars A New Hope work. Alec Guinness was giving him directing suggestions as to what would and wouldn't work in the film. Carrie Fisher rewrote a lot of the dialogue because it looked so unnatural and there's no way anyone could make that look good, so she took it upon herself to rewrite a lot of that dialogue so that it would move a lot cleaner and a lot smoothly. I mean, a lot smoothly. Thanks, Christian. But George Lucas had a ton of help with that movie from other people. He didn't write and direct Empire Strikes Back. He didn't, different people did that. And granted, he didn't direct Return of the Jedi, but he co-wrote the movie, and I guarantee you he wrote the shitty parts. I guarantee you that it was him that made the first third of the movie, the whole thing about trying to rescue Han. I guarantee you it was his idea to make that go on as long as it possibly could. I guarantee you that it was his idea to put in those fucking Ewoks. I guarantee you that was his idea. And are we also going to forget that George Lucas just fucked up the original movies? Are we going to forget that he fucked up the original movies with the special editions? And still to this day, we have never, ever gotten to see them again? Now, some people will go, well, it's Disney's fault at that point. No, it's not, because I guarantee you that George Lucas, in the agreement when he sold Lucasfilm off to Disney, said, you cannot show the original versions of the Star Wars trilogy to anyone. The special editions are the versions you are not allowed to show the original versions. Because you really don't think Disney wants to capitalize on the bank they would make on releasing the original versions of the original Star Wars trilogy? Because look, re-releases don't make a lot of money. They just don't, usually. But the Star Wars trilogy, as they originally were, oh yeah, that would probably be the highest grossing re-release ever. Because people have been begging for the original versions of Star Wars for decades. Decades. Disney is too smart to not want to do this. This was George Lucas's fault. It was his fault for screwing up the original films, and it's his fault for not letting us see the original versions of Star Wars. And on top of that, are we just going to forget that George Lucas did Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones? Are we just going to forget that it was his idea that Jar Jar Binks was a great character, and he still thinks Jar Jar Binks was one of the best ideas he's had? Are we just going to forget about that? Are we going to forget about how stupid and annoying Jar Jar Binks was? Are we going to forget the fact that are we going to forget that Padme in Phantom Menace was way older than Anakin and he was a little kid, and these two are the same characters who are going to be bonking and having kids later on in the trilogy? Are we going to forget about that? Are we also going to forget about the fucking midichlorians and whatnot? Oh, and people talking about Star Wars being too political nowadays because of female leads and whatnot? Alright, are we all going to forget? Okay, for one, that's not even political, that's just a female lead, you jackals. But are we also going to forget, but speaking of politics, are we going to forget when Star Wars was really, really political in Phantom Menace? To the point to where they were talking about trade federation routes and peace treaties and whatnot? Yeah, because people want to see that in a Star Wars movie. Are we going to forget all these shitty ideas that George Lucas had and all the shitty things that George Lucas has done with the Star Wars franchise? Are we going to forget about all of that so that we can all just trash on Disney? Look, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not trashing you if you hate the new Star Wars movies. I'm not, okay? But you have to be a fool to not only you would have to be a fool to at least not acknowledge that Disney has every right to not use any of George Lucas's ideas. They have every right to do that. Because that's how business works. And as I said before, I'm glad they didn't use any of his ideas, because I'm pretty sure George Lucas's ideas were shit. I'm pretty sure his ideas would have been terrible. Because, I'm sorry, people like to rewrite history, but everyone hated what George Lucas did with the original Star Wars trilogy. Everyone hated the Ewoks. Everyone hated Jar Jar Binks. Everyone hated how bland everything was in Star Wars Episodes 1 and 2. And some people would say that for Episode 3. I thought Episode 3 was decent, but you could still see George Lucas's fingerprints on that movie, the typical tropes he would have. Are we just all going to forget about that just so that we can jump on board the Disney hate train? Are we just all going to forget about that? Because I'm sorry, people. Grow up. Wake up. Okay? I know you may not like what Disney's doing with Star Wars now. Oh well. But they have every right to do so. And assuming they don't is stupid, and it clearly shows that you have no idea how business works. Alright? And again, I'm just going to say one more time before I move on to the next thing. I am glad that Disney didn't use any of George Lucas's ideas. I could not be any gladder, because I think George Lucas is not a good filmmaker. He's had ton of help in the past with A New Hope, and every single thing that could have gone wrong in the Star Wars franchise up to Disney buying off Lucasfilm was his fault. It was his fault. So I have no sympathy for this. I have zero sympathy. It was his fault, man. It was his fault. I don't care if he felt betrayed, okay? That was a dick move of him to try and say that before Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker comes out. Hell, it's just a dick thing to say that in general. But I'm sorry. Business, that's how, that business is business. You keep doing, like, it's just, I'm going on a tangent here. But, so yeah, what do you guys think of George Lucas feeling betrayed that Disney didn't use any of his Star Wars sequel ideas? Let me know down in the comments below what you think, and we're going on to the next subject. On a lighter note, we're going to be talking about the trailer for Birds of Prey. Now, if you don't know what Birds of Prey is, don't worry, because comic-wise, I don't know anything about, Birds of Prey. This movie, well, like, the full title for this movie is Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, but we're just going to call it Birds of Prey because, well, that's too long of a title. And, apparently, it's going to star, of course, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Mary Elizabeth Winstead as Huntress, who I have no idea who that is, Journey Smollett-Bell as Black Canary, Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya, I don't know who that is, and Ewan McGregor as Black Mask. Now, I've been interested in this film because, hey, I mean, I do like Harley Quinn and Suicide Squad. I mean, I thought Suicide Squad was alright, but I thought she was really good as Harley Quinn. Now, from what I'm reading about Birds of Prey, it looks like that that they could have gone with, you know, a lot of, you know, more recognizable characters. Like if I'm looking here in the comics, there's apparently there's, of course there's there's Batgirl was in the original, like, was part of the Birds of Prey. Catwoman, Poison Ivy. It's like, oh, so, and I don't know if Batgirl is gonna be in this movie. I have no idea. But I mean, it's looking like no. I'm not very well spoken. But but anyways, let's talk about the trailer. I thought it was a fun trailer. I mean, it was more of a Harley Quinn trailer than anything, but it kind of makes sense considering she's the lead of that film and she's the most marketable character. Again, I have no idea who any of these other characters are other than vaguely Black Canary and Black Mask, but everyone else, I have no idea who they are. Now, maybe the movie's so good that it'll make me want to see these characters more. Who knows? But right now, I'm not really thrilled with the character list here. But I mean, I thought the trailer was cute. I thought it was pretty funny. A lot of the Harley Quinn stuff I could easily see Harley Quinn doing. It looks like she's getting a hyena in this movie, and like that thing looks funny. I mean, again, there's not really much to talk about. Like, there was like this funny dynamite in a car gag, but like it's not really much to say because it was really more of a teaser trailer, and so yeah, I don't even know why I made this into a topic. I probably could have made this more of a topic if Raphael were here, but whatever. Yeah, what do you think of the trailer for Birds of Prey and the fantabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn? Damn it, man, that is long. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Okay, guys, now we're going to be talking about the thing that we've really come to, like the thing we've all been waiting for, my review for Joker. Now, if you don't know, Joker was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. I think at the time, if I'm not mistaken, let me just go over here. I'm looking over at my list of my top 10 most anticipated movies of 2019, and when it came to that list, it was what's the term I'm looking for? I'm trying to think of the wording. Yeah, this list is accurate as of December 31st, 2018, and Joker was number 5. And because keep in mind, there weren't a lot of trailers for this. There were not a lot of trailers for actually, no, there were no trailers for Joker. Like, we got to see how the Joker was going to look, and I was like, oh, I'm interested in this. And I was especially excited because this was going to be a comic book movie that was not connected to a cinematic universe. Like, this was a standalone film that was it was just going to be this film and nothing else. And that fascinated me because, look, I love the cinematic universes, but you can still do, like, I feel like we can live in a world where we can have cinematic universes and the standalone comic book movies. And so when I heard they were doing Joker, I was excited for that. And then, of course, the trailers have been nothing short of brilliant. Like, I wouldn't even just say brilliant. The teaser trailer for Joker is one of my favorite trailers of the year. It's right up there with The Lion King as being my favorite trailer of the year. The teaser trailer for Joker. That trailer was incredible. I was so excited for Joaquin Phoenix because he's a really great actor. And of course, there's all this controversy as to whether or not this movie caused violence, because, controversy's always good. And the movie's finally out, and what did I think of it? Holy shit, guys. you need to see this film. This is probably the most intense film of the year I've seen. This movie is, in many ways, a horror movie from a certain point of view. Not a horror movie in the sense of, things jumping out and going boo. Like, nothing like that. But the reason why I think Joker is so scary is that I could see this, this is going to be a non-spoiler review, by the way. This is going to be no spoilers. Oh, man, but the shit that happens in this movie, I could honestly see happening in my own hometown. This movie feels so real. It feels incredibly real. Even more real than Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. I still think the Dark Knight trilogy are overall better movies, but Joker, in terms of realism, this movie pulls no punches. This is a dark, depressing film. This movie is horrifying to think about. I mean, first, let's talk about Joaquin Phoenix. He's just as amazing as you thought he was going to be and more. Like, Joaquin Phoenix gives the performance of his entire career. And I'm not saying that because he's doing Joker, but oh my god. Like, what he's doing in this film, like, his performance is so layered. Like, this isn't a spoiler. This is just a basic understanding of how his character is. Like, it's literally in the beginning of the movie. It's not a spoiler, because you see this in the trailer. Like, Arthur Fleck, that's the Joker's name in this movie. Arthur Fleck, get it? Affleck? He has this mental condition where in stressful situations, he starts laughing. And they portray this as like a real thing. I don't know if this is a real thing. This might be a real thing, I don't know. But like, it sounds stupid, but the way you see it on screen, you can tell he gets nervous a lot, because when he starts laughing, it's like his throat hurts. Like, he starts coughing and wheezing, and it's like, oh god, this is actually hurting him. And this movie, one reason why this movie's brilliant is that this movie manages to make you sympathize with this guy in the beginning of the film. But as you see him progress and, well, in this case, degress into becoming the Joker, you're going, no, don't, please, no, you were doing, like, I know you can do well in this world, just, no. But society just keeps pushing him and pushing him. And this movie has a lot to say about society. I mean, really it does. Like, in this film, pretty much everybody is a dick. Like, everybody, like, there's not really many good people in this movie. And if they are good people, they're not in the movie a lot. Like, even Thomas Wayne, we know he's gonna be in the movie. Even he's kind of a dick. Like, we kind of figured this when we were watching the trailer, but he's not a cool dude. He's kind of a douche. Which is a very different way of us seeing Bruce Wayne, because we usually see Thomas Wayne. Wait, did I say Bruce Wayne? I mean Thomas Wayne. This is a very different way of viewing Thomas Wayne, because he's always been he's always been portrayed as, Bruce Wayne's, a role model for him. I mean, we don't see him a lot, but he seems like a cool dude. In this movie, he's a bad dude. He's not, he's granted, he's nowhere as bad as Joker, but he's partially responsible for where Gotham is right now. And I just love that. It's taking something we know from the comics and twisting on its head, and I love that. Some other things I gotta mention about this film that I think are absolutely brilliant. For one, the cinematography. The way a lot of these shots are lit. is so good. I mean, it's like, I'm like, whoa, this is a comic book film. I mean, I know it's weird to say, but I mean, like, there's this one scene. Again, I'm just putting in this here with no context. There's a scene that happens in a bathroom, and the lighting is so good during that scene. And speaking of the bathroom scene, that also gets me to another praise I have for the film: the score. Now, again, you wouldn't think the score would be that good, but oh my god, this is one of the most terrifying scores I've heard in my life. And like, if you were to listen to the score on its own, you'd be wondering why I say that, but in context with, for example, the bathroom scene, it gets flipped on its head to being a horrifying piece of music. And I'm hoping this movie gets quite a few Oscar nominations, especially the big ones. But I'm also really gunning for this film for Best Original Score, because the score in Joker is so good. It's haunting. It's scary. And again, not scary because it's going boom or anything like that. It's like slow and creeping up on you, and it's building up to the Joker. To where, like, and that's when it comes, and that's another thing I have to say about this film. This film is, again, as I said before, this movie is tension filled. Like, there's not a moment in this film where I felt easy, where I felt like everything was going to be alright. This film always keeps you on the edge of your seat. And by the time this movie's ending, you're in shock. I don't know, I can't say for you, but I was in shock by the end of this movie. Because it's like, oh my god. I just don't know how to describe it. I was on the edge of my seat throughout the entire runtime of this movie. And, like, again, because, like, do not go into this movie thinking, you know, oh man, this is gonna be a cool action movie with Joker. No, this is not that at all. This movie is scary, and don't think you're gonna go into this movie, like, when I say scary, don't go into this movie thinking it's gonna be like It. I'm not saying scary as in, like, things jumping out or anything. It's scary because I'm worried this is actually where we could lead ourselves one day. Now, keep in mind, this is not the same thing as me saying, like, I'm not saying this movie's going to cause violence. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if our society keeps going as it currently is, especially where I live, I worry that this is, by the end of this, that we could be in a state where this movie is by the end of it. I could see this happening in our society one of these days. And we need to do something about it. We really need to start having more of these conversations. And kudos to Todd Phillips, the director. Now, because, like, it's so weird. This guy was the director of the Hangover movies, and also the director of Old School. And I think one of the writers of Borat. This movie just, like, this is a completely different film from his filmography. And I love seeing comedians do this. I love it when comedians go for something, like, really dark and screwed up. And, again, if you look at this a certain way, this could be a horror movie. I'm absolutely floored by Joker. I'm even going to say this. I think it's better than Endgame. And Endgame is already, I think, a masterpiece of the comic book movie genre. But Joker transcends the comic book movie genre. It becomes even more than that. And that's not me crapping on comic book movies. I'm not. I'm saying this bends the genre. And I know some people are going, but why are they doing more dark superhero movies and whatnot? I'm kind of sick of the dark, realistic comic book movies. I really feel like this is what the genre needs. Because I don't think there's comic book movie fatigue. I really don't. I do not believe there's comic book movie fatigue because the box office proves otherwise. I mean, all 3 MCU movies this year made over $1 billion, and Avengers Endgame became the highest grossing film of all time. There's no comic book movie fatigue if that happens. But if we get a balance of those cinematic universe movies with standalone, just not connected to anything comic book movies, like Joker, this is going to lessen the chances of comic book movie fatigue. This is good for the genre. And I was absolutely floored by this movie, guys. This is an incredible film. This movie is scary. This movie, Joker has incredible themes of mental illness and capitalism and whatnot. Like, this movie is absolutely... This movie is incredible. I'm running out of words to describe Joker. It's so good. This, if there was ever, I still think the Dark Knight trilogy is better than Joker, but if there was ever one that could give the Dark Knight trilogy a run for its money, it would be Joker. So guys, if you haven't seen Joker already, go see it. Go see it. See what I'm talking about. Again, this is not going to be this is not an action movie. Do not expect you're gonna, watch this movie and be like, yeah, action. No, this is a drama. This is a psychological thriller, and I could not have been any happier with it. I am hoping Joaquin Phoenix gets nominated for Best Actor, and again, this could change if I just so happen to see a lot of movies that are better than Joker, although, that come out later this year. Although if that happens, this would be, one of the best years for movies ever. But, right now, I have a hard time believing that Joaquin Phoenix is not going to get nominated for Best Actor. I think he's going to be nominated for Best Actor and be one of the frontrunners to win. This movie, I could also see this getting a cinematography nomination. Score. I hope it gets Best Picture and Director and Screenplay and all that. So yeah, guys, go watch Joker. This is an incredible film. It is one of the best comic book films ever made. It is one of the best comic book films ever made. It's so different from any other comic book movie out there right now. I really suggest you go watch it. I love this movie so much. And before I move on, I just want to remind you guys that that I still have my Patreon account. If you want to support me through Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/ChristianTylerHannah, and there are 3 tiers you can choose from. $1 per month gets your name in my videos. $5 per month gets you the audio-only version of the Hannahcast, along with your name in my videos, and $15 a month gets you the Hannahcast after show, where we just talk about any kind of random shit out there, and it also gets you the Hannahcast audio-only version, and it gets your name in my videos. And with that, guys, that's about it for this installment of the Hannahcast. Again, I'm sorry Raphael couldn't be here today. We'll try again next week, but I just really had to get this episode out because it's Joker. I really wanted to talk about Joker. So, yeah, guys, what do you think of all these topics? Let me know in the comments below what you think, and remember, guys, if you disagree with each other, please be civil about it in the comments. Be nice to each other. We're all film fans. We're all just trying to have fun with movies and whatnot. So, that's about it, guys. Bye!